Hello soulmate, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time I'm seeing my channel, thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for watching. So in today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this off-shoulder dress that has an halter neck. Okay, so as you can see, it has an halter neck that you can fix at the back, and it is an off-shoulder dress. So if you're interested in learning how to make this dress, just join me while we get started. Okay, so soulmate, so on our pattern paper, as you can see, I've gone ahead to draw the necessary lines. I draw a vertical line here, and I also draw an horizontal line at the top. So the line at the top is meant to be the starting line or the shoulder line. Okay, so as you can see, I also went ahead to mark the shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to the waist, which is 9.5, 13 inches and 16 inches respectively. Then I also came down by 5 inches from the waistline, which I've already marked, and I'm going to connect it with a straight line. That is the full length of this dress. Okay, so the full length of this dress is 21 inches. You can just go ahead and impute your own full length. Okay, so after that, I've drawn straight lines which I am labeling, as you can see, the bust line, on the bust, waist, and the full length. So once I've done that, now we're going to start drafting. So we're going to come to the shoulder line or the starting line and mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. Mine is 7 inches, and from that point I came down. After marking the 7 inches, I came down by 1 inch, which I'm going to be using for my shoulder slope because our shoulder is not straight. Okay, so from that 1 inch I mark 7 inches, which is the armhole depth, and to get your armhole depth, just divide your bust circumference by 6 and add 1.5. So I also went to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2 on that same line, just to ensure that it is equal, and I connected it to meet that 1 inch I came down for the shoulder slope. So at the lower part, I'm drawing a straight line like this, which is going to be the chest line. Okay, so after getting the chest line, I'm marking a neck width of 3 inches, which I'm connecting to the 1 inch below the shoulder area for my shoulder slope. Like I said, the shoulder is not straight. So now to get the armhole curve, I'm going to divide what I have in this armhole there by 2. I've marked the midpoint there, and I'm coming in by 0.5. So now I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line like this, and I'm going to connect it together. Okay, so mind you, I'm working with a bust circumference of 34 inches. So after that, I'm going to connect these 3 points like this to meet each other. As you can see, I've gotten my armhole curve. Although this is an off-shoulder dress, you might not be needing this armhole, but for tutorial sake, we're going to be doing it. So what I'm marking here is my bust span, which is the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So that mine is 3.5 inches. That is my bust span, and I mark it from the bust line to the full length, and I'm connecting them together like this. So now after connecting them, I'm going to be tightening the under bust area. Okay, I'm going to just tighten it. I'm going to be marking 1 inch on both sides. You can mark 1.25, it will help give a better fit, but 1 inch is still fine. If a plus size, please just use 1.25. So after marking 1 inch, I'll mark it at the full length as well, and I'm going to connect it together. Take note, I'm doing this on the under bust line down to the full length. Okay, so after connecting them together, I'm going to come from the bust line. I'm going to come down by 0.75, and I'm going to be using my curve ruler to connect that point to meet the under bust tightening line like this. Okay, so the reason why I'm coming down from the bust line by 0.75 is to avoid sharp edges. Okay, if you don't do this, that part is going to be kind of sharp, and you don't want that, so it's just to avoid it. So after this, we're going to come to the shoulder slope area, and we're going to be dividing it by 2. That we're just going to take the midpoint. So you can just do your tape like this. You take the midpoint and then you mark it. So after marking it, just go ahead and connect it to meet the bust span line on the bust line. As you can see, I've connected it. So now we're going to be doing an over bust tightening. Actually, we're not going to be coming up above the chest line because we are going to be working on the chest line. The chest line is going to be the over bust line. Okay, so I'm just going to mark 0.75 on both sides. You can mark half of an inch if you wish to, but I'm going to use 0.75 for a better tightening. Okay, so now after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the bust line where the bust span is marked. Okay, so just go ahead and do that. Okay, so after connecting them together, I'm going to take the measurement on each line to ensure that they are straight. So this part I have 2 inches, and here I have 1.75. So I realize one side is bigger than the other. I'll just go ahead and mark the extra there, which is about 0.25, and I connected it together. This is done because if you don't ensure they are equal, when you're joining them, you have one side shorter than the other, and you don't want that. So I'm going to connect that part to meet the center front like this. As you can see, just the part where we have the over bust, I'm going to connect it there because the off shoulder is kind of straight. It's just straight, it doesn't really have a curve. So just go ahead and do that. So what I'm doing now is taking the body measurements and adding the necessary allowance. Take notes, where I mark the chest line, bust circumference divided by 4, I added the that allowance of 1.5 around that tightening area, and I did the same thing for the under bust, waist and full length. After marking the waist measurement divided by 4, I added 2 inches for the dart there, and the full length I marked my hip measurement divided by 4 and added the 2 inches for it. Same thing with the under bust. So after doing that, I went ahead to connect them together, and as you can see, I'm avoiding sharp points. Okay, these areas are not meant to be sharp, they're supposed to be kind of curvy, and that is what I am doing. Okay, take note that in this pattern I did not add seam allowance. So if you want to add seam allowance, you can go ahead and add it here, but I have not added it here. I just went ahead to add the body measurement and the dart allowance. So this other side, you're just going to work directly on the chest line, but if you want, you can come down by 0.25 like I'm doing. Okay, coming down by 0.25 will actually help the off shoulder dress to relax properly on the under bust. You can also come down by 0.5, it's still fine, especially if you're a busty person, it's still okay, or you can just leave it on the chest line. Okay, so now for the full length area, you can see that we have 5 inches from the waist to the full length, and I mark 4 inches from the side, which I'm going to be connecting with a curve to meet that first dart line, as you can see. So we're going to be working with this new line that is drawn and not the other one. Okay, so this is actually it. We are basically done with this part of the dress. We are just going to impute our bust dart. Okay, so the bust dart is the difference between the shoulder to waist in the front and the shoulder to waist at the back. For the front is 16 inches, the back is 14.5. Difference is 1.5, which I marked below the bust line, and I connected it to the bust point on the bust line. Of course, we're going to be folding it. Yeah, I'm going to be folding it because we're not going to be using it. It's going to be taken off. So by the time we fold it, this is what it's going to look like. And when you fold it, you notice that the side lines are not aligning. So you're just going to take your ruler like this and connect it from the under bust to the chest line, and now it aligns. So now that you're done, you can go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so before we cut it out, I just want to show you how you can actually get your halter neck strip from your pattern. So you can just decide to take it from your shoulder, but I'm just going to fix the neck for us to be understand what we are doing. Okay, so I marked the 3 inches depth, and I'm connecting it to the 3 inches width I marked earlier. I've gone ahead to connect it with the curve so we can understand what we are doing. So from that point there on the shoulder area, you're going to connect it to the off shoulder on the chest line. So as you can see, it's a bit close to the armhole. So let's just say I put this on the armhole area and I mark 3 inches coming in. That point where I mark 3 inches, I just went ahead to connect it. You can do this whichever way you want it. It's going to be fine. So the length or the wideness of, I'm talking about the wideness of the halter neck, let's assume is 2 inches. You're just going to go ahead and mark 2 inches on that chest line and on the shoulder. If you want it to be 1.5 inches wide, it's fine. Go ahead and do that. Then connect it together. All you need to do is when you're cutting it on your fabric, you're going to be adding necessary allowance that you need. So at this point, we are basically done with the cutting of the front piece. You can just go ahead and cut it out. And also take note that when you're cutting out, you should close your bust dart. Okay. So at this point, I realized that when I was drafting the halter neck, I did not connect it to the lower part of that chest line that we marked there. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it together because we're going to be working with the one we came down by 0.25. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it out now, and then cut out the other parts of the dress. So at this point, if you find this tutorial helpful, please ensure to give us a thumbs up, share this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can always get notified when we upload new videos. As you can see, I'm closing the bust dart. After that, I'm going to go ahead and cut it following the lines and go ahead and cut the other part. So if you're a lover of fashion and you want to learn pattern drafting, you want to learn how to sew, you want to learn how to cut dresses and make them to fit, our beginner class for June is going to commence on the 16th of June, and registration is ongoing. So if you're interested, just send a message to the number that is displayed on the screen. It's a WhatsApp number. From there you can make inquiry and then you can start your registration. It's going for 5,000 naira. If you're interested, do not skip this opportunity. Okay, so if you have any question, please ensure to leave it in your comment section. Sorry, I mean the comment section. Okay, so you can see the outer neck now. By the time you're cutting it, you're just going to leave about half of an inch allowance here, which you're going to be sewing inside of the shoulder. And for the neck area, you're just going to be adding like about 2 inches there, which you're going to be using to clip at the back, maybe with a pin or a button. Now we're going to draw the back piece. As you can see, I've gone ahead to draw the necessary lines. This line I drew here is for the zipper area, and it's about 1.5 inches wide, that space. Okay, so I've marked the shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, and to the full length. So the shoulder to waist is 14.5, remember, and I came down by 5 inches from there for the full length. So I realized that the lines were not straight, so I went ahead to mark the accurate lines and I draw the straight line. Okay, so we're going to be working with this new line that I'm drawing here, because the other one is a bit more than 5 inches. So now after doing that, I just went ahead to label it. I've gone ahead to fix the armhole and the chest line. We don't need the armhole, okay? I'm just doing it for tutorial sake. Okay, we don't need the neck, that's why I did not fix the neck. So now we are going to start drafting. First of all, we are going to impute the bust span measurement, which is 3.5. That is nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So after that, connect them together from the chest line to the full length. Then I'm going to come to the waist at the center back, and I'm marking half of an inch. This is to help avoid zipper bulging. From that point, I'm going to take it up a little bit above the chest line, and then I'm also going to take it down from that point a little bit towards the hem area, not exactly at the hem. Okay, so after doing this, we are going to be starting from there to take our measurement, but for now we're going to fix our dart, and I'm marking 0.75 on the waistline across or around the bust span line. Okay, so I came down from the chest line by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect from that 1 inch to the dart, to the weight, the 0.75 we mark for the waist dart. Now take note that you can connect this directly to the chest line. You don't have to come down by 1 inch, but if you wish to do it this way, it's fine. They are going to work, both of them. I came down from the waistline by 4 inches, and I'm connecting them together like this. Okay, so now we are going ahead to repeat our dart. If you're a plus size, you can use 1 inch. Okay, so that it works better for you. Okay, so now that we have done this, I'm just going to impute the body measurement. I'm marking the hip measurement divided by 4. What I'm using is 36 inches. I marked it there. Okay, so for the waist, you can see I started from the new line we drew, and I added the dart allowance of 1 inch, I mean 1.5 inches. Okay, so from the chest line, starting from this new line here, and I'm marking it. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect them together. Please take note, ensure you add the dart allowance. The allowance you take for your dart, ensure you add it. Okay, for the back, you're only taking the allowance on the waist area, unlike the front. Okay, so now that I've done this, we're actually done with this back. The only thing we're going to do is that we're going to come from this chest line and come down by 0.25, just like we did for the front. This is to help it align. Okay, it has to align properly, so we're going to connect it to the center back like this. Have you seen? So now we are actually done with this part. We're just going to fix the zipper allowance, or the zipper allowance. So I'm going to cancel that line just to show us that we're working with this new line now. Now from that point, you're going to go ahead and mark 1 inch all around, and you're going to connect it. Please ensure to follow the line. The line is not straight. Okay, it's not straight, so just follow the line and mark it, and that will be the area for the zipper. And after that, we are basically done. If you find the tutorial helpful, please ensure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you can be notified each time we upload new videos. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. You can watch me while I'm doing this, and also take note that you can go ahead and stitch your dart directly on the dress, or you go ahead and cut it out like I'm cutting now. It's actually better to cut it out because it gives a very neat finishing. So I'm going ahead to label it zipper allowance area, center back and side back. So after doing that, this is what we have. This is our front piece and this is our back piece. Take note that you're cutting your back and front 2 pieces each. Okay, you're going to cut them 2 pieces each, and if you're using lining, you're also going to be cutting the lining the same thing. Okay, so now I'm trying to align the hem area. I just place the back on the front and mark where it stops at the side, and then I went ahead to connect it to the that area, and after that I'll just cut it out. So this is just to ensure that the back and the front aligns. Okay, so take note of that. So after that, this is actually what we have. The back and the front piece is actually ready. So for the outer neck, like I said, you're going to be cutting this into 4 pieces because of course you're going to be turning it. Like I said, you can add half of an inch below and then about 2 inches at the neck area, which you'll be using to clip it with the button. You can also clip it with a hook. Whatever you use is fine. So at this point, you are done with this tutorial. If you find this tutorial very helpful, please ensure to give us a thumbs up. See you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching.